Merrimack TV content may no longer be available on YouTube. To continue watching our programs, please download the Merrimack TV app from your device's app store. Programs may also be available at merrimacktv.com.
All right, I think it's time. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Merrimack Planning Board meeting for June 3rd, 2025. Let's see. Can we start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's see. Nelson, will you sit in for John?
I will.
All right. Thank you. All right. Can I start the first one, Robert? All right. All right, so first item on the agenda is Mary Ann Picard and Rachel Cecil Picard, Revocable Trust, for acceptance and consideration of a site plan to raise an existing single-family dwelling and construct a 3-unit multifamily building. The parcel is located at 44 Daniel Webster Highway in the I-1 Industrial Aquifer Conservation and Planned Residential Overlay District, Tax Map 2E, Lot 1, Case Planning Board 2025-10. This item is continued from May 6, 2025's meeting. It is.
The applicant in this case is requesting a continuance to July 1st.
Do I have to vote on that?
Yes, you will have
Okay.
to take a motion vote.
All right, so is there a motion for continuance? Is there a second?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Who wants it? John? I'll give, all right. Okay, all right. Motion made by Neil and seconded by Karen. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those abstaining, all those opposed, motion carries. Robert, can I ask a question? Now that John's here, should I address that?
Yeah, just swap to say Nelson's seated for Bob.
Nelson's what?
Seated for Bob instead.
All right, Nelson, you are seated for Bob instead of John. Oh, boy. All right. Next item on the agenda is Ferris Enterprises LLC, review for acceptance and consideration of a site plan to construct a 2-story, 9,870 square foot office warehouse building with associated site improvements. The parcel is located at 101 Herrick Street in the C2 General Commercial, I-1 Industrial, and Aquifer Conservation Districts, Tax Map 3D-2, Lot 20, Case Planning Board 2025-12. This issue is also continued from May 6, 2025. Gentlemen. Good evening.
My name is Chris Gaida, and I'm a certified wetlands and soil scientist. Sir, can you turn your... And the green light is on. My name is Chris Gaida, certified wetlands and soil scientist with Fieldstone Land Consultants, and Chuck Ritchie is in our engineering department.
Good evening.
He's going to take the lead here and give you a brief overview of this. As you all probably, if you've been around long enough, know that we've been here a few times for, I think this is the third different owner and proposal for this lot.
Good evening. Do you guys want an overview, or do you want me to do we do completeness first?
First, why don't you introduce yourself?
No.
And then... Overview, Robert? Is that acceptable? Yeah. Yeah.
A little
Go ahead.
overview?
Overview, please.
All right. Good evening. As Chris said, my name's Chuck. I'm with Fieldstone. We're here representing Ferris Enterprises LLC for the proposed plumbing and HVAC business going in at 101 Herrick Street. It's on the southeast corner between Herrick Street and Daniel Webster. It includes a 9,870 square foot building for Ferris Plumbing and HVAC business, along with parking, drainage, and other associated site improvements. As Chris mentioned, this has a little bit of a history. In 2017, it was approved by the Merrimack Planning Board for a MyBox facility with a 39,000 square foot building on the site that was never built. And we came back in 2022 and 23 for Joyce Heating and Cooling, another plumbing HVAC business. I believe that was approved as well for a 15,000 square foot building. They obviously didn't build that one either, and they sold it to our client, Harris Enterprises, who's looking to do the same use, just actually with a smaller building footprint. A lot of the design features of the site are pretty similar to the previous renditions. The entrance is the same location off of Herrick Street. We are no longer proposing access off the highway. The drainage design is very similar. We have less building and less pavement on site than previously proposed. We had underground stormwater chambers last time for additional parking, but that's kind of been pulled back, and we've got an open infiltration basin now. Utilities, they've been reviewed, and they're very similar to what was before. We're tying into municipal sewer with a pump system, water main extension coming in off of Daniel Webster Highway, and we've got electric and gas as well coming in the highway.
Okay.
Lighting and landscaping. Lighting is pretty similar as well. We got building-mounted lights and 2 pole-mounted lights in the parking areas. It's all downcast, shielded. We're not creating any glare on abutting properties. And landscaping, we do have a couple waivers. I don't know, and I kind of touch on those at the end here.
At the end, yes.
But landscaping, we've got we got trees along Daniel Webster Highway. It's kind of a commercial site, so we don't have any interior landscaping, but you're trying to revegetate a little bit along the highway, despite the site being 20 feet down elevation-wise from the highway. We got peer review comments a week or two ago, probably 2 weeks ago. We just submitted revised plans yesterday afternoon and this morning. Fussell and O'Neill they've reviewed this before the previous application, but there are a couple changes, nothing too major. With regards to the engineering review. And then in the staff report, we've been working with Merrimack Village District for water. They wanted to make sure that the hydrant was in the right location. The sewer department wanted to make sure that the pump system was up to their spec, which we'll certainly work towards with them when we need their permit.
Okay.
That's kind of the design. Chris, you want to talk on some of environmental, concerns?
Yep, sure. Thanks, Chuck. Did everyone get the stuff we submitted? It was basically a wetlands report. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, hard copies came in this morning.
I do have a few copies too, if you folks didn't get them. I know this.
I did not get one. Is this something we should have seen? No.
No, sir, if you have some copies, we'd appreciate it. Robert, would you like one?
We could share.
John, can you pass one behind you? Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. And then, here, Karen, did you get one? Here. Oh, that's,
You got an extra?
no.
Here you
Steal
go.
this
Go
one, I'll
ahead.
give it to
Okay.
you. My friend.
Thank you.
All right.
So when the first round, I'll briefly just paraphrase what I just handed out. We started this in 2016 and did a wetland delineation there. I believe that was in December, early December. At that time, the whole site was still forested. And so it was a little bit different situation. Nothing else has changed other than, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, the previous owner did essentially clear cut this site. So there's not a lot of trees left. I think that's one of our waivers having to do with locating trees. So anyway, long story short, at that time in that report, when I was writing this, I went back and reviewed that report. And we designated them basically as stormwater wetlands at the time as well. I must admit that I probably should not have filed for a wetlands permit at that time. We kind of erred on the side of caution. It wasn't a huge deal. And so basically, when we reviewed it, I've been there at least 3 years or so, and in the photographs that I included have different phases. I think one was 2016, another one was I think 23, and some more were in recently in 25 here. So essentially, what we have, I'm going to get up and wave around here, make sure this is on. So. Okay, so this is the existing conditions plan. Daniel Webster Highway was redone in, boy, I want to say, sorry, I think I might have wrote that in there. I'm trying to look for a date on this. '68. Looks like '68. Anyway, these are copies of the highway plan. Basically, one of the research things we went back and looked at to see what changed. Essentially, over here on Smith Road used to be the highway. So they built this, and as part of that was installing 2 drainage culverts onto our site. One here is a 24-inch one, and one here is a 15-inch one. And I did a bunch of work looking out here to basically substantiate my initial thought that this was a man-made wetland and created exclusively from the drainage on Daniel Webster Highway. So there's a culvert outfall here. There's pictures of the culvert outfall there as well. It's not unique, but essentially when you look at culverts, a lot of times there's water flowing through them all the time. They get staining. There's water there basically all year long. And they're usually directing water from somewhere else, like across the street, if there's an intermittent stream or things like that. This is a situation where all of this water source is 100% coming off of catch basins from Daniel Webster Highway and Smith Road. You can see them on here, all this feeding into this main drain manhole here and gets discharged here, and similarly here, catch basins along Smith Road, they get discharged here. So the water source for here is 100% artificial. It's not picking up or channeling a naturally occurring drainage way or wetlands onto the site. It's just storm events, and what happened is that basically when they built Daniel Webster Highway, you can see this is kind of a steep slope here, this embankment. And this discharges out basically mid-slope. When the storm event happens, there's a lot of flow that comes through here, and what it did is basically erode out the hillside here. It redeposited all that erosion and sediment, down into this area here. So basically right now this has eroded out down into the ground and dissipated here. This area here, also included in the pictures, has all the evidence of basically a bucket excavator width, that this was dug out, at some point. Whether it was done, it was quite some time ago, when the highway was constructed, or some point between then. I'm not sure, but it looks fairly old, so I'm guessing at the same time. So that this water channel basically during storm events flows out here and out in here. So in that packet that I gave you, basically wetlands require 3 criteria to be jurisdictional wetlands. One is hydrology, natural occurring hydrology that has water there. We don't have that. We have 100% coming from stormwater from roadways. So we're missing that component. There obviously is water there, so when there's water, you do start to get hydric vegetation, which is one of the other criteria, and hydric soils. So you do get some of that showing up here. You'll see in the pictures it's basically a monoculture of cattail area. there was a big change in vegetation once the trees were cut. If you look at the earlier ones with a little bit of snow on the ground, you'll see that this was all almost 100% eastern white pine, which is an upland tree, a facultative upland, so it's basically like between 66 and 99% of the time found in uplands. They like sandy soils. These are sandy soils, they're Windsor and I think Nittagrattan here. Both, this is a well-drained or excessively drained soil, and this is moderately well-drained. So I did a bunch of soil augers through here. This area does have there's probably 2 feet of, sand and sediment that essentially came out of, this hillside here. So that's essentially it. We simply don't have the hydrology component, and it's not a naturally occurring wetland. So in the definition of the wetland for the state as well as the town of Merrimack, I'm not saying that there's not water there. There's obviously water. It drains out, but it's not permittable or jurisdictional, which needs a permit, and it's exempt under their RSA. It's 485, and there's a little excerpt in there from that as well. So there is water that flows through there, but it's not a permittable wetland. Happy to answer any questions. I know I just dumped a lot at you, but
That's quite all right. Robert, do you want to check with you first?
No, I just would like to say that I think Fuss and O'Neill needs to have a chance to review the report that was submitted because they haven't seen that yet.
This one, right, the one we just
I
got?
didn't
Yes.
hear you, Bob. I'm sorry. What?
He was stating that Fuss and O'Neill has not had a chance to review the fieldstone report that we just got.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I wanted to know what's your ultimate outfall for this water that's coming in?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll do a brief one here, and Chuck can add if he feels I missed. So basically, what the plan is, and it's the same plan that has had in the last 2 versions as well. So this 24-inch, the proposal is to add a manhole here and basically drop that down. So the erosion is all happening because that manhole is sitting up about 6 or 8 feet right now. So the velocity coming out, just like a garden hose, in your plant bed, cuts the soil out. So this is going to dissipate all that energy by going vertically down, and there's a big sump basically in this manhole. Then this pipe gets picked up at a lower elevation, and this is about, I think, between 1% and 2% slope. So then it discharges out here into a plunge pool at the edge of the property, and then there's back towards the naturally occurring wetlands, which are out here off of the edge of the property. So basically, we remove its ability to erode all the soil, which is what it's doing right now, and it dissipate all the energy. So it just takes the highway drainage and just conveys it, out towards the end of the property and past there.
And puts it on the next door property?
Well, it's going there already, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it discharges here, and then it runs through here, and then it goes off the property onto the next door property as well. So, yeah.
Well, where does it looks like some riprap. It's hard to see from here, but it looks like some kind of a riprap outfall.
Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
riprap and a plunge pool. So basically, so basically it has time to settle again and dissipate any further energy, that's coming out of that before it goes off-site.
And how does it get off-site is what I was interested in.
Well, this culvert right here. So this dark dashed line is an extension of the existing highway culvert.
Yeah, how does it get off-site? Where does it go when it goes?
I'm not sure I follow the question. How does it get?
Where does the water go?
Where does the water go?
Oh, well, we didn't do any work on here, but it basically, I think it heads down in this direction and towards the river.
Okay,
Yep.
you think it does?
Well, there's existing, let me get to another sheet here, sorry, notes. So on here, basically, the wetlands, you can see this dashed line here on the back, so this is still remain forested, and this is jurisdictional wetlands here. So this wetland, I mean, we didn't go off the property to map it, but I mean, we can look at the aerials and I can kind of point to it, and I know this is wet here, there's buildings out here, so I don't know where it flows after that, but we're right here, and everything's kind of heading towards the Merrimack River, so, yeah.
Well, Fuss and O'Neill, you said Fuss and O'Neill had not looked at this yet.
They've looked at the plan once, but they have not looked at this wetlands report that was just submitted.
Yeah,
And they have not looked at the plan that was submitted to you today.
okay. So there's still some reviewing to be done. to
As far as
answer my
staff is
question.
concerned, yes.
Pete?
Yeah, reading the report from our staff, it looks like there's some incomplete issues on the application. So I have concerns with that, but
Well,
moving forward, I mean,
we have a two-part thing. So the first part is we will have to go through accepting.
sorry?
We will have to go through the process of accepting the plan is complete and then vote on it or
Okay.
continue it, whatever the board decides.
and I think Robert makes a good point. Fuss and O'Neill needs to review this. And by the way, Tim Thompson is no longer our Community Development Director. And I would like to see in an upcoming presentation is, maybe you could just show us where that water's going when it
yeah.
leaves site. Maybe take a few pictures or something for us, so we see where that's going, just to help us out a little bit.
Sure.
And from a personal aspect, and I know about the rest of the board, but it would help me, and I'm asking a lot of the folks to come to present, is if you could bring a thumb drive, because we can look at your diagrams on our screens, and the folks from home can look at things, because you're pointing out a lot there, and I'm trying to.
Sure,
My
understood.
eyesight is not
Yep.
good
Yeah.
anymore, so.
Yeah.
Just
Good point.
one suggestion from one member of the board, so,
Yeah.
Two members.
two members.
I'm on your team.
In this day and age, I really feel
Oh,
like.
yeah, no, it's not a problem. It's,
Yeah, in this day and age, I feel like we should be,
Yeah.
and then the folks at home can actually see things too.
Sure. I do have, just to follow up on your question, I mean, this is it's a LiDAR, basically, a grayscale, that kind of shows I can bring it up if you want.
Sure. Chairman.
I know, if I had it on the screen, everybody could see it.
Yeah.
Or even
So-
if there was one in our packet, I don't think there is one in our packet.
No, but, and, I mean, the next meeting, I'm guessing, we need to continue it, and obviously let Fuss and O'Neill review
Yeah.
it, but we can present that and show it out more, but you can kind of see the channelization in there. and,
I gotta imagine, I'm sure it probably, but we just all kind of concerned what happens with the neighbor if.
Sure, yeah, no, it's understandable, yeah. But we are treating also, as required, all the stormwater from our site, and this is from off-site, which basically gets moved on there.
All right, everyone. So the first order of business is to determine if this is accepted as complete or not.
Can I ask one question
Ye-
first?
yes.
So I'm looking at the plans here, and I'm seeing where you guys are referring to it as an office and warehouse, and then it's referred to as a flex building. So what is it? It looks like a 4-unit flex building here
Where are you seeing flex building?
on the plans that were submitted.
Do you mind just telling me what sheet number you're on or something?
I'm looking at, actually, it's on
Well,
several
this one right
pages.
here,
Flex building.
this one, the
Says-
site
yeah.
plan one shows that on
Flexi
it.
building, and it looks like 4 units if I'm counting it right.
Yeah, so it is commercial. It's going to be that, at least the minimum Ferris is going to occupy that first bay there.
So it is a 4-unit building, not a single building for one entity.
They might end up, I believe, they might rent one base out.
If you can come up and just grab a microphone, introduce yourself.
My name is Matt Ferris. So it's good. I'm going to be renting the rest of the space out to Granite Group, so it's going to be my warehouse, and then Plumbing Supply House is going to take the rest of the space.
Okay, so it is a flex building, not a single building.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Want to make sure we know that.
It's an excellent question. All right, board. We do have to make a decision if this plan is complete or not. What say the board?
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Did you want to say something else?
I was gonna make a motion to accept it as complete. Granted that there's a lot of things we've pointed out that aren't complete, but I think it's complete enough for a review, is what we're saying, and not
I would agree.
complete and then that we're happy with it yet.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Nelson and seconded by Neil. All,
Can I speak? Can I speak
yes,
to that?
sir.
Maybe, and fairly new member here, so point.
Go for it.
Okay, I noticed the recommendation is to continue.
No, Pete, that's on the
Okay,
approval of it. This
thank
is
you.
just, we're just accepting completeness.
I'm learning.
That's all right, man. I'm learning too.
Thank you. Okay. go
All
ahead.
right, so, motion made by Nelson, seconded by Neil. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion passes 5-0-0. 6-0-0. I count. All right. All right, now the second part is we need to either motion for a continuation or make a decision.
The board can actually look at the waivers if they choose to, or they can continue that to another hearing. It's your choice.
And what's the waiver being requested for? It was the jurisdictional wetland?
There's I believe it's parking spaces,
Oh,
shade tree, breaking up of a facade, window construction, identification of trees 15 inches and plus in diameter. Is that correct, Robert? Am I missing any?
Um,
Would you like to address those or wait until the continuance?
I wouldn't mind addressing them
All right.
if, right? Get it out of the way.
Grant the waivers? All right.
ma-
By all means.
Well,
Questions?
Well, we should go, go through
One
them,
by one.
yeah, one by one, and
All right, so the first waiver being questioned is 5% of parking area located to the rear of the principal building to be landscaped.
how many parking spaces are there?
We're required to have 29, and we have 34.
so 34 is bigger than
They have,
29.
yes, they
What's
have
the
more
waiver?
than necessary. So can you clarify what the waiver is
So it's from the landscaping requirement portion of
Okay.
that to require interior landscaping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Essentially, when you have a long run of parking spaces, you kind of want to break it up. Whereas we've got more of a commercial use with trucks, breaking it up with a curbing to plant some trees in between parking kind of makes it hard to maneuver. So we're requesting a waiver to, I think our longest run of continuous parking spaces is 18 spaces. So we're requesting a waiver to not landscape inside the parking.
Okay, I'd be okay with that.
There is a
Okay.
landscape
Sounds like
plan
they've
being
got more
submitted.
than enough parking.
What was that, Neil?
Sorry, there is a landscape plan.
Yes, we have a plan, we're not proposing landscaping inside, within the interior of the parking
In the
area.
parking area, but you will have other things going in all around the building.
Right, that's part of our
All the other-
request is,
yeah.
we're doing outside along the, the
Mhm.
right of way to essentially make up for the reduction of interior landscaping.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll go down each one of them if you want to touch on any of them before, and then the board can ask you questions. Is
Sorry,
that okay?
did you say?
I'll touch on each of these, and then if you have any input on them, please. So the next one being requested is, requires placement of one shade tree per every 15 parking spaces to be distributed without the parking lot.
That's very similar. The interpretation of that is
Okay.
interior trees.
Okay?
So we'd be talking about 2 trees.
Right, and
You have about 30, you have 30 spaces, you said?
yes, 39, 34,
39?
excuse me.
34.
Okay.
Okay?
And there'll be a shipping and receiving area for potentially the tenants?
Right, the east side of the
Or
building
in
is
for the-
garage doors.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So
The-
what we'd be waivering is the
Landscaping.
interior to the parking lot.
Yes, sir.
Specifically.
islands of the-
Yes, sir.
of the-
Those are almost tied.
They are almost
They're
tied.
almost, they reflect each other, landscaping and trees. It's all in the parking.
Okay, we're gonna talk about landscaping separately.
Yes, sir.
Right, okay.
Do you have questions, Nelson?
No, I wanna know what the landscaping looks like. I haven't seen a hint of it
There
yet.
we go.
This is our proposed landscaping. How many do we have? We're proposing essentially 16 shade trees, along the entrance and then all along the right-of-way with Daniel Webster, and nothing on the inside of this parking area. And that's what we're requesting the waiver from, is to not plant things on the inside of our parking lot.
Okay. Yeah, I'm clear on that.
All right.
Okay.
Third item, regarding the breakup of a 100-foot facade.
So we're proposing a 141-foot building, and the requirement is that, I believe, 20% of that needs to be offset, I believe, or recessed. We're requesting a waiver from that. We're pretty close to that 100 feet, and we're also down 20 feet from the highway. If you're driving down, you're going to be looking basically down on the top of the building almost. And we're also further away than the previous applications. We're like 79 feet from the right of way. I think the previous applications were within that buffer or right on the setback. We've got 4 doors and a handful of windows along the facade. It just didn't seem necessary to, go through the lengths to architecturally design it to put jogs in where it's so far off the highway, essentially.
Do you happen to have any renderings of what the building will look like?
This is looking at it from the Daniel Webster Highway. Am I facing east here?
This isn't really a perspective view, it's really just a straight-on view. This would be looking at it from the highway, the man doors, and then this would be the east side with the garage doors around back.
I, for one, would like to see a little bit of color, something.
Yeah.
Something to give it the highway view. I know, while you said it's straight on and not from the vantage point, is just plain.
Yeah, it's very industrial looking.
Neil?
I think we've had this conversation before, and when we're talking about a facade, we're not necessarily talking about huge offsets in the building or anything. More so, I think, is just to put something on the building to give it a little bit of depth, that appearance that it's not just a big, long warehouse. So, because you had said that you didn't want to go with big offsets or, the changing the structure of the building. I think in other cases, didn't we just have them put panels up or something just to kind of offset the?
I remember being a part of some other approvals in the past that had just a varying colors and something to break
Varying
up
colors
the
and maybe some
consistency of the
architectural
building.
panels or something just to kind of break up that big look, I think is more what we're trying to get at. Does that resonate?
You're correct. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I think that would be fine. I mean, I think the big hardship part comes in when you start changing, obviously, the walls of the building and recessed, but I've seen some change in colors or siding or something like that. We can come up with some options.
Yeah, I don't necessarily speak for the board, but I would, for one, would like to just see something, just not make it plain. I understand that you don't want to move walls, but something to make it pleasing on the eye.
A little, yeah.
So if we were to do on the siding, a strip of a different color, is that okay? Or are you looking for something on the roof also?
Well, we're looking at both.
Both, really.
Vertical striping.
Yeah.
To break up that long wall. And we haven't talked about the roof yet, but I don't see any of the usual air conditioning equipment and so on the roof on your picture.
Yeah, it's a pitch roof, so that was just a rendering from the steel company, a very basic rendering, but I could get you something a little more detailed.
So I think we'll want to look at that.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
board would be
Okay.
inclined to see a little bit more detail,
Okay.
just to know what the town is going to see when they drive by.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the 100-foot facade waiver? Comments? All right. The fourth item was regarding window construction details.
There's what, a couple little bitty windows that,
Mhm.
yeah.
Not sure I understand that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm guessing maybe something along the same lines of maybe something like shutters or
Mhm.
something a little bit different color to enhance the windows a little bit, you know, more of a aesthetics
good.
than.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that was intended to be a waiver. That was a part of the facade section of the
Yeah.
ordinance that we were citing.
Okay.
It does say that windows should be vertical expression arranged in a balanced pattern and suitably framed throughout the use, accentuated with trims, sills, lintels, quoins, and other similar features.
Okay.
We'll provide,
Yeah,
some
so
sort
that-
of,
Yeah.
Yeah, that ties into the previous conversation about
Right.
just something with a little more substance.
right, same section of the ordinance.
All right, and then the fifth one is regarding the identification of existing trees 15 inches in diameter.
Too late.
They're all cut down.
I was gonna say.
Too late. All right. So, at this point,
I
yes,
do
sir,
have one thing.
please.
In recent review from Fuss and O'Neill,
Yes.
they pointed out that there was a veterinarian hospital approved just to the north of us,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
with some arborvitae proposed landscaping that would reduce our site distance. We had previously 325 feet, and now we're down to 250. That's entirely within the right-of-way, and so at the latest submission, we've requested an additional waiver.
Okay.
I cannot see what I got here.
Oh, wait, I'm confused.
Yeah, so you're adding a sixth one? Is that
Correct.
for clarity? Okay.
I didn't hear it.
He's adding at the current moment, he's gonna he's requesting a sixth waiver.
Okay.
And because of what? What's he asking to waiver?
Section
clarify?
3.08, C6, relief from 400 feet required site distance by
Yeah.
the site plan regulations. We have 250 feet. Fuss and O'Neill kind of brought that up because before we were looking across the abutting property. I'm requesting this because, Herrick Street is a 20-mile-an-hour road that's not one way, it's dead end essentially. And the entrance is located in the best spot on site. If you move it further west, your site distance
You're
gets
talking about
worse.
the entrance onto Herrick
Herrick.
Street? Yeah. Okay, I thought he was talking about putting it on the street.
Sorry, I lost you. This is the proposed single entrance to the site. If we were to have 400 feet as required by the site plan regulations of site distance, we would be looking up here. Over this is the veterinarian lot, and we would look over this corner here of the site that's proposed currently to have trees planted there, which would impede our site distance. So if we calculate site distance entirely in the Herrick Street right-of-way, we've got 250 feet, which would get you up, most of the way across the lot. But it doesn't meet the regulations, so we're requesting a waiver because Herrick Street is so, it's a slow road, not a lot of traffic, and this is the best spot that we can. As we move further this way, the site distance gets worse for us.
I'm a little lost, but
Okay, so they can't put it in anywhere else. This is in a good spot.
Can you tell me where on there is Daniel Webster Highway, just for reference?
yeah, where is Daniel
No.
Webster Highway?
Right here, this line here is, we're looking to, we have site distance to the highway. So it's 250 feet
No, I had
west.
it right. Yeah, I had it
See
right.
it on the other sheet.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, it looks,
Yeah, it's,
They're coming in here, and this is the veterinarian.
Okay, and where's the veterinary hospital? Just on the other side?
it's right north on the side of Herrick Street.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the last additional waiver as Fuss and O'Neill reviewed it, that we'd like to add. Thank you.
Pete?
I guess I'm kind of, you got me thinking about this. I mean, I know that road very well, and I kind of get what you're saying, but are you gonna, and I know part of this building's gonna be warehouse. Are we looking at a lot of tractor trailer, 18-wheeler traffic? No? Because I'm kind of wondering about an 18-wheeler kind of getting around that turn, coming out and coming in.
We're not anticipating a whole lot of 18-wheelers, a lot of box trucks, for plumbing and cooling. And we did submit a traffic study. I think that's going to be part of the review by Fuss and O'Neill as well. It's not a real big traffic generator site. We're going to be well under the 100 trips per hour, so we don't anticipate much issue there, really.
All right, thank you.
Might be a good idea to have that.
Any other comments? Questions?
I'm not seeing a turning template. You guys didn't provide one? A truck turning template or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Maybe we'd want to see one of those.
Potentially, yes. Yeah, I agree. I'm inclined to agree.
If they're expecting big trucks or trailer trucks, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But what he said, they're not.
Not many, but that doesn't mean none.
That's true.
All right. So is it the will of the board to, Neil?
Well, I was just going to make a suggestion,
Yes,
if I
sir.
may.
Please.
I was, and I'm not sure how we would proceed if we vote on these individually, or we can group them up, but
Robert?
in regards to the 100-foot facade one, I think I'd like to see what they have to offer before we vote on that one.
I agree.
But I think the other ones that we're seeing, minus the one that you just proposed, I think those can all be pretty much voted on, based on what we heard.
Robert, how would that be done? Would we have to wait to do as a bulk or?
It would be
individually?
easier to do them individually. I would skip the facade window construction detail waiver because you asked to see more information. And I would like to see a written waiver request for the site distance waiver that they just requested. So you could do the landscaping waivers now.
Okay. And the 15-inch tree, is that acceptable? All right. This. All right,
What
board.
did he say about the landscaping? I didn't hear what he said.
Robert has stated that it's all right to go over the landscaping waivers right now. He would like to see the new waiver in writing before doing anything.
What
The one-
they asked for.
What they just asked for right now.
Okay.
To wait for the facade until the next meeting, and then discuss just approve or refuse landscaping, and the 15-inch tree
Yeah.
waiver.
Okay, but I don't know if I want to waiver the landscaping in general. As far as he went with the landscaping, I'm okay with that.
Yes, sir?
But I'd like to see the landscaping from Route 3 and continue.
Okay.
The landscaping along Route 3.
Yeah, I think that is included and proposed. I think the only waivers we're requesting for the landscaping were those interior.
That's how I wanted to be clear about that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely, yep.
yeah,
Fair, Nelson? Did
No,
that
no.
answer your question?
that did sort of, yeah.
All right. So I will start with the first waiver, and then do I have to open this for public comment?
Take them one
Before I
by
vote?
one, yeah.
Okay. All right, so do I do them individually, too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be easier. If you
All right.
did for us.
I think for the record it would be.
All right, so for the first waiver, section 3.11.L.1.3, which requires 5% of parking areas located to the rear of the principal building to be landscaped, open it to public comment. Closing the public comment.
You don't have to open the waivers for public comment,
I
just,
don't.
sorry. No, just
Okay.
the hearing itself. You can do the waivers now.
Okay, we can do the waivers. All right, so what is the will of the board on the 5% of parking area located to the rear of the principal?
I'll make a motion that we grant the waiver requested.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second
All right, motion made by Neil and seconded by Nelson. All those in favor say aye.
that. Aye.
All those abstaining, all those against, that is voted. Oh.
Real quick, citing which strict
Strict
conformity.
conformity or hardship?
On the grounds that strict conformity would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulation.
Should I take the vote again, Robert?
Would you like me to make the motion again? Hardship.
Next waiver. Was that acceptable vote, or should I do it again? It was unanimous? Yes, sir. All right, the second waiver is section 3.11.L.3, which requires placement of one shade tree per every 15 parking spaces to be distributed throughout the parking lot. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
He did so well with the other one.
That's it. I'll make the motion that we approve, accept the waiver. Under strict conformity would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulation.
I will second it.
All right, motion made by Neil, seconded by John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those abstaining, all those opposed, motion passes 6-0-0. All right, the third waiver we will be voting on is section 4.12.C.18.8 regarding the identification of existing trees 15 inch in diameter. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we deny the waiver at this time until we have a better rendition of the building.
This is for the trees.
This
Oh,
is for the-
didn't he
Sorry,
just
I
say-
moved
Talking about
down.
the
I'm just going down that because we're gonna,
Oh, he went to number 5.
I went to 5.
He-
I thought
You
you
said
said
three. He
Sorry.
said 3, but he meant 5.
My apologies.
My apologies.
No.
I'll make a motion that we grant the waiver based on strict conformity would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant.
All right.
And the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulation.
All those in favor, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, motion made by Neil, seconded by John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those abstaining, all those opposed, motion passes 6-0-0. Robert, I do have a question when you're ready. Is this a continuance of the remainder or a denial of the remainder? Of the, to get the facade images, and do we continue it?
Yeah, can you continue the hearing?
But these particular waivers, do we vote on them, or?
No, we just set them aside.
Okay.
That's all you have to do.
And do I have to, we have to vote on setting those aside separately from the
No.
other three? All right.
Nope, we can just.
So really
say
just move
we're
on
setting them
to-
aside and just move on to the public hearing at this point.
All right. So I will open the floor to a public hearing. And I will close the public hearing. And I'll vote on.
Yep, so now it's the motion to
All right.
continue.
So is there a motion to continue?
So moved. Mr.
All right.
Chairman.
Second?
Date certain, please.
Second.
Date?
Yeah, July
What date
1st.
are we, July 1st is
That's it,
acceptable?
yeah.
All right.
Do you need you need?
A butter notices?
Reason, well, the butter, that's another question.
Yeah, I'm trying to,
altogether. But,
does it need reason? Just continue?
Nope, just the motion to continue the hearing until
Till July 1st.
July 1st, yep.
Is that acceptable, Nelson?
Without being specific about what more we want to see, okay.
Yep.
All right, is there a second? John? All right, motion made by Nelson, seconded by John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those abstaining, all those opposed? 6-0-0. Thank you, gentlemen. I
you.
appreciate the patience.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to the board?
Yeah.
I've got, ideally, we'd like to come in on July 1st and, or we'd be looking for conditional approval. I just want to make sure I've got everything that, I've got Fuss and O'Neill review on wetlands, Fuss and O'Neill review on the traffic, and an updated architectural are kind of the big three that I'm seeing.
I believe so.
I don't think there's, anything else can kind of be conditional.
I'd like to see a tractor-trailer turning template for
And
the
a turning
property.
template with the largest vehicle.
Do we have to address the other things that I notice here? Do you still have to go see the zoning? You guys still have to go in front of the zoning?
For the wetlands,
For the, I was,
Yeah, it's based on the wetland situation.
The wetland.
Yeah, I think that's what Fuss and O'Neill's review is gonna determine. If they agree with the applicant, then all the variance stuff and all that goes away.
gotcha.
And you're going to show us the outfall of the water, where it's going
Yes,
from this site,
yes, thank you.
all right, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right. Where's my agenda? Next item on the agenda is John Flatley Company, conceptual discussion regarding a proposed or a proposal to construct a mixed-use development in the I-1 district. The parcels are located at 645 and 673 DW Highway and Gilbert Drive in the I-1 and Aquifer Conservation Districts and the Wellhead Protection Area, tax map 6E, lots 003-01, 003-03, and 003-07, case planning board 2025-15. Good evening, sir.
Mr. Vice Chair,
Yes, sir.
this is probably a project that's going to garner a lot of attention, and I would go to remind the gentleman who's presenting to us, as you move forward, if you could put your product on a thumb drive.
Yeah, I heard you the last hearing.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I think a lot of folks, and it makes it easier for
Yeah.
us,
So
so.
this is really just a concept plan. When we come in with the actual design plans, I'll make sure we have thumb drives and all sorts of good
Thank
stuff.
Just a second, my friend. Does the town have anything they want to add to this before we get into the discussion? All right, my friend, the floor is yours.
Surrounded myself with plans. How you doing? Good evening. For the record, my name is Kevin Walker. I'm with the John Flatley Company, and I'm here tonight. We have proposed a development on one of the open parcels on our Daniel Webster Highway land, and we've submitted that to the zoning board. As part of that, and coming through with the development on this section of the parcel, we met with Robert and Casey several times over the last year and a half. We've gone through many different iterations on the plan, and we finally come up with something that I think works. You know, it's a good-looking plan. It's a plan that I think will be pedestrian-friendly for the people that go to the site. I know DW Highway in that section is not pedestrian-friendly, but we're trying to make the site pedestrian-friendly. So just kind of, some of you know this plan from 2014, 2015, Mr. Disco, Mr. Manueli with the fire department, Ms. Vancatel, I know you were in it, at least portion of that. So I just kind of want to walk you through the process real quick, and then I'll get to the development. So back in 2014, 2015, we received a mixed-use conditional use permit on the parcel. It included 5 apartment buildings, some retail, and some industrial land. And we worked it in a way, this is existing residential homes. So we went residential, and then we were going to go retail, commercial, and then beyond that, industrial land. Dumpling Brook runs through here. St. Gobain is right over in this area here. So the industrial areas were basically on the St. Gobain side of Dumpling Brook, and with the remainder on this side. So as things have evolved, obviously retail is not as big as it was, you know, even 5 years ago. So what we've done on this plan is we have gone from a retail plaza that looks like this, a lot of pavement, a lot of impervious area, kind of ugly, in my opinion, to what we have here, which is a mixture of housing, retail. We've also got a hotel in here, a bank, couple of restaurants. So this is, again, it's evolved over time. We went to the planning department probably a year and a half ago with a plan that did not look like this. And it just, we kept working on it until we came up with something that we thought would be good for pedestrians that come to the site, a walkable area, a much more green area, you know, not so much impervious pavement. And this is basically what we've come up with, and this is what we submitted to the zoning board. The hearing on that will be around the 25th. Typically, we're kind of in a unique position here. This was one of the first mixed-use developments. I don't know if it was the first, but it was one of the first here in Merrimack. And then the bylaw got 86th, so we're kind of in the middle. We're stuck with a plan that we would typically be coming to the planning board for. We'd modify the master plan. We'd present this plan to you. You folks would vote one way or the other, hopefully approve it, and then we would go through with the design process. Right now, We don't have that option. So our plan back in 2014, as far as how to permit this, just got tossed on its ear. So where you guys were involved in initially permitting this, we wanted to do a couple of things. We wanted to come to the board just because you've been involved with this parcel for over 10 years at this point and present what we're trying to do. And also, if you're in favor of what we have here, request a letter of recommendation to the zoning board, basically stating, the development is pretty much in tune with what would have been approved way, when the conditional use permit was around and all that good stuff. So I just kind of want to walk through the plan. I'm going to start with this one here, and might be reiterating what I said before. Well, we started out with 548 unit buildings. This was a big box when we initially submitted it, like a big Walmart type thing. Then we had retail in front of Saint-Gobain and the industrial to the far north. We left the industrial to the far north. We took the retail out from in front of Saint-Gobain and did flex buildings there. And we moved the retail over here. Now we've got about 170,000 square feet of retail shown on this plan. It's way too much. Nobody has 170,000 square feet of retail anymore. Which led us to trying to design something. We hear every day about, housing is needed and so on and so forth. So we added some more housing. We added retail. We added a hotel. And within here, there'll be restaurants and that type of, those type of amenities that, the residents here can obviously use. And hopefully people, within a good 20, 25 mile radius will find it nice to come here and check it out and do some shopping.
Kevin, what's the square footage of the retail and restaurant type use?
The current one?
The new proposal, yep.
I've got it right here. Yeah, we've got about right around 50,000, a little less. So moving to this plan here, I'll kind of walk through it a little bit. Again, this is Gilbert Crossing. The last thing that was approved in front of the board were buildings 6 and 7, which are right here. Those are under construction. Building 6 actually just opened, so we've got some occupancy there. Building 7, which is down here, that's going to be probably another month and a half before we open that one. So again, moving from south to north, we have some townhomes, additional apartments, just a couple of little single families there, little 3 bedrooms, just sitting along DW, and then it transitions over to, retail. All this is retail in here. The reason why these are brown here is those units, those retail units actually have apartments above them. So there's a total of 22 apartments above the retail in these 5 buildings. Total of 22, up to 2 bedroom bedroom dwellings. And again, we've got a small clubhouse here that can be used by the hotel folks. It could be used by the apartment folks. We've got a pool that would be shared between the residents and the hotel. We've got walk-in paths and sidewalks throughout. You can see everything in here. There's not a lot of parking. The reason for that is we kept the parking on the perimeter, and we've got all sorts of walk-in paths, extra wide walkways through here, lots of green areas, so we're going to be setting up benches and whatnot. People can hang out and eat their lunch or take a rest. And after a lot of iterations on this, we think this is a pretty good layout to move forward with. So that's what we have here. So, I mean, in short, this addresses the need for some retail and some other type of amenities in the area. It does add housing, which that's all we hear about is needing more housing. This roadway here was approved by the planning board probably going on a couple of years ago. We're working with DOT on that. They approved our 75% plans. We just submitted the 100% plans. So hopefully we're looking, within a couple months, get approval from DOT on that. And I guess that's it. I mean, again, I'd like to, just thank Robert and Casey for their help through this for the past year and a half. I want to thank the board for the past work we've done with you. I would much rather be going through you for this approval. We don't have that option, so we will be going as zoning board, and that's why I'm here. I wanted to, give the courtesy you see in the plan and get any input you might have. And I guess just to show you, I have a rendering. So that's what. It's a rendering of these 4 buildings on DW. That's what we're anticipating it looking like. These aren't going to be little boxes. These aren't going to be, a typical row type of retail. It's going to have some character to it, which is what our goal is. And again, those are these 4 buildings right here. The remainder is going to be similar to that. So we haven't gone as far as getting architectural plans done up at this point, but that's what we're envisioning. And I guess at this point, I'll be happy to take any questions from the board, and we'll go from there.
All right, Pete, go ahead.
I got a few.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I don't want to monopolize. I'm sorry, I didn't get your first name, sir?
Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin, I guess I'm starting off first with, and when I saw your proposal is, the whole issue, the Saint-Gobain decree, what would you guys have to do to make that site workable for DES? Is there anything you guys would have to do?
So throughout this process, starting on day 1 with the apartments, which was the first development that we did, the beginning of this project, nobody really kind of heard about PFOA. When we started construction on this project, that's when the whole PFOA thing started going haywire. We had to do everything from not removing any fill from this site off-site. Now, when we started these apartments, our contractor at the time didn't really get it. And I'm not saying he hauled off like 50 truckloads, but he probably hauled off a couple truckloads, and literally probably 2 or 3 truckloads. So we put a stop to that. We started taking actual pictures of all the trucks leaving the site, showing they were empty. Material can come in. We would need gravel, might need crushed stone. We'd have a contractor bring it in, dump it, we'd use it. But everything on this site has to stay on the site. Now, we've got 150 acres on this entire parcel. So there's plenty of room to put extra loam. We spoke with one of the neighbors over here, and I talked to him about putting a berm up over here with some plantings on it, which we still intend on doing. So we have everything that's on the site, long story short, has to stay on the site.
Okay, because, and now what you just mentioned, that would look like you put the berm up next to existing Gilbert Crossing and Hilton Drive area, correct?
Yeah, the neighbor I spoke with, it was Mr. Disgrolier. I think his parents live at the house or lived at the house, and I went to his house more than just a couple times and met with him. Nice guy, nice family. And he said, can you put a berm up and try to maybe screen this a little bit better? There are trees there to screen it. They're pines, so the branches down low, aren't always as thick as what you see up at the top, and some of the underbrush, especially in the fall, it kind of goes away. So we told him we'd try to help him out and get a berm up there.
And I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, and that's a lot of NHDES stuff, but I know it's an important issue for the residents of this town.
Yep, us too.
As you guys experienced with the reported trucks. So moving on from that, you said the proposed 4-story buildings were 48 units or 52?
So when we built over here, these are 48-unit buildings.
Yep.
Between this getting built and this getting built, we've actually switched so the building footprint is the same. The size of the building is the same, but we took a 2-bedroom and we made a 1-bedroom and a studio on each floor to make 4 extra units, so 52-unit buildings.
And doing my math, it looks like we're looking at 282 residential units in this new proposal.
So there's a little bit more than that. There's 260 in the apartments.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 20 in the townhouses. There's 2 single-family, and the 22 units on above the retail. So it's I think it comes out to 304 when all said done.
Okay. So, and I see over here near the old fish hatchery and so forth, is this a new proposed road?
So that is the road that was already approved by the planning board,
Yep.
and that's what's going through.
Okay.
So the entrance of that road is going through a DOT design
Okay.
for the connection to DW Highway.
And so, and that road leads not only through your new proposal, but into the back lots back here. Is that also Flatley property?
Yeah, so this parcel is kind of funky, and I should have brought the whole shooting match with me. So, big rectangular parcel, Flatley owns everything, except for St. Gobain. It's like a rectangular donut.
Gotcha. Yeah,
You know?
I've seen it before.
So this road comes out, it wraps around the very back of property line of St. Gobain, and it comes out to the St. Gobain access road with the traffic light.
Okay. Kevin, and I certainly understand this is conceptual phase, and I don't want to give you a hard time, but I'm kind of getting a vibe like what happened in Bedford. The Bedford, I think they call it the Bedford Village, over by the old Macy's there. That was, they were originally going to do a live, work, play, and then they said, no, we want to, kind of what's happening here is now we want to change it all to residential because, things aren't panning out in the economy. Subsequently, the Bedford said, no, you're going to stick to your plan. And I think because they felt like that's a pretty built-up area. And, I'm looking at, I know when Gilbert Crossing came in, a lot of people were concerned of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
It has increased traffic. I'm concerned that you add another 280 or so units here, and, I don't know if the road can handle that. And, then my concern is, and but these back lots, let's build some more. And I'm worried about that. So
Yeah.
now we put in another 280, and we've got a heck of a problem on Route 3.
So we spoke with DOT, and I met them out in the field. I've spoke to DOT more than probably 60, 70 times on this. So for DOT to do what they want to do, and what would probably be best for Merrimack, is they need to take the front yards of everything, basically from the power lines, which is our north property line, all the way down to Bedford Road. They would love to put 2 lanes in there. They don't have the manpower to talk to all of the neighbors along that stretch to do a taking. Ultimately, they want to take the property. What we're doing with DOT is we're giving them ease. So when we're widening Daniel Webster Highway, it's coming onto our property, and we're giving an easement to DOT for that portion of the road on our property. And I suppose they could do it that way too, but
And even if you do that, you've still got exit 12 that isn't a full interchange, north and south. So this being said, and I'll leave it at that because this is conceptual, and I really don't want to give you a hard time, but these are concerns that I know I'll scrutinize, and I have a feeling members of this board will, as well as the
Right.
community, because I know there's a big concern about the traffic.
and we're right with you because, if we're putting in, whether it's retail or housing, we want people to be able to get there or get out or whatever it might be. If this makes it through zoning, then we're going to have a traffic engineer, as we always do a traffic study for this entire development. And that report will be obviously submitted, reviewed by the town's consultant. And, I mean, one thing, and I don't want to get into it too much either, because it's more it's more the design process when we come in with an actual site plan. But this part of this design here involves an actual traffic signal, multiple lanes there that I think will allow a couple lanes of traffic down DW Highway for a stretch. So this intersection really is probably the most amount of work we're going to be doing for DW Highway itself. Now I'm kind of getting off the point a little bit, but when we did the Flex building slightly to the north, it's right across from the Webster Green Apartments. And my first thought was, well, why don't we stick a light there? That'd be perfect, for everybody. DOT can't do it. The traffic light at the St. Gobain driveway and the entrance where we had the Flex building and the Webster Green entrance are too close per DOT to put a second light. Now this is barely far enough away to be able to put a traffic signal in. And that's what we have designed right now.
Yeah, so I'm sure as this project moves, you'll show us more detail, because
Yeah.
a lot of folks, I'm also on the town council, and a lot of folks, I hear a lot is, I don't want one more traffic light on DW Highway. Granted, we may need it though.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
people, because, it just slows down traffic as it is. So these are just a few thoughts from one guy, and I
Yep.
appreciate the patience of my fellow board members.
I mean, again,
That's good.
when we submit actual site plans, you're gonna have everything from, everything we file with DES, traffic, you name it. It's a pretty thorough submission, pretty thick submission, so,
Thank you.
thank you.
Board, any other?
Oh.
Nelson? Karen?
Okay,
Oh, I just want to say that I'm very similar to Peter in that I worry about the PFOA situation.
Yeah.
But I understand that DES you're working with them.
Yeah, so we met with DES on everything out here, and we actually, even though we don't have an actual full civil design done on this site, right now, literally, that's what we have. No calcs done, nothing. So we've already met with DES. We wanted to kind of to get ahead of the game. So we've met with DES, we had an initial discussion with them. They wanted more, they wanted information they already had, actually. So we sent them this plan. And we have the monitoring well locations from St. Gobain's consultant. So we sent them that report with the monitoring well locations. They were going to review it. Then we're going to set up another meeting. Again, not to beat the shorthanded to death, but I said, can we meet next week? Yeah, we're a little shorthanded. How about a couple months? So hopefully, in the next few weeks, we can sit down with DES again. Because part of the problem out here, and I don't want to keep you guys too late, but I know some of you haven't been here, so I kind of want to tell the story. For our Flex building, we met with DES. We met with 12 people at DES. It was me, Chad Brannon from Fieldstone, and 12 people from DES. I think DES had 12 people. We're all sitting around a big table. They said, we want you to design this drainage for a 50-year storm, not a 100-year storm, and just dump it into Dumpling Brook and be done. I'm like, 50-year storm, dump it in Dumpling Brook and be done? They're like, yep, that's how we're gonna do it. That's how we did it. Well, in the 2 months that in between meeting with them and submitting the plans, the personnel at DES shifted. This guy went to this department, this person, what are you doing? Well, what are you talking about, what are you doing? What are we doing? Did exactly what you told us to do. No, we ended up putting a big, the basin's got to be three quarters of an acre, and it's lined so it can't infiltrate into the ground. And that's why we met with DES early on this one. Because the PFOA levels from right in front where our Flex buildings are to the front of Gilbert Crossing over here, they drop like a rock. They did tests over here, and it was below the limit. They did a test, here, and it was over the limit, but nothing crazy. But then you cross over Dumpling Brook, and the number skyrocketed. So we wanted to meet with them ahead of time. Because for building 6 and 7, which are still under construction, or 7 is, you know, they allowed us to expand on a detention basin that we had there that has infiltration on it. They had no comment on it. So we wanted to see what they had to say about this before we, you know, go into some sort of full design and, sorry, this isn't what we want. So we want to get their 2 cents on it before we get cranking on it.
Nelson?
Okay, well, I got a bunch of questions, but some of them you've already covered. We in Merrimack have had some difficulty with similar plan in another part of town, where we approved a certain amount of housing and some retail and a hotel, and
I'm aware of where you're speaking.
you know what I'm talking about, and you know that they still haven't got it together.
I know.
And it didn't pay off. I mean, they couldn't make it work economically, I believe. I'm not privy to why
Yeah,
they didn't.
yeah, it could be.
But just, I'm glad you're aware of it and you know what has happened and what can happen
Yeah.
here. Okay.
The hard thing with a master plan, and we were asked to do something in Nashua, and we haven't done it. I don't think we're going to, but we may. The tough thing with a master plan is, all right, well, this is locked in. Well, 10 years ago, retail was doing great. If we built all this retail 10 years ago, or on that plan, I should say, you know, it would have been great 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And after COVID hit, we'd have a bunch of empty buildings, and that wouldn't do the town any good. It wouldn't do the site any good. Certainly wouldn't do us any good. That's the tough part about master plans is you kind of got to flow with the time and
Things change.
and hit it where you can. And as it turns out, you know, there is a need for housing. You know, that this filled up quickly. We have no doubt anything in the future will.
Yeah.
And we've got a nice retail area. You know, it's bigger than our Terra Commons in Nashua. It's got a lot more green space in our Terra Commons. And I mean, looks like a well thought out development. And a landscape architect actually put it together. And I mean, I would have never thought of the layout myself, so.
Okay, thank you. Talking about this, just while I see it there, you
Sure.
reminded me the housing that faces DW Highway, there's no access from DW Highway to those houses. Is that correct in your concept?
Which houses are we?
No, I'm looking over your left shoulder now.
Yeah, are you talking the housing on the second floor of those buildings?
No, the stuff that's right along Route 3.
The 2 singles, I think he's talking about.
Oh, there's a driveway. There's a driveway.
There is a driveway. Okay, it doesn't
Yeah.
show on here.
Oh, it doesn't go out to DW. It comes in off of the internal roadway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
That's what I
if
wanted.
we were to come in here into Gilbert Crossing and bang a left, there's a drive, you know, it's a shared driveway, but there's a driveway right here
Oh,
that'll
okay.
fit a couple
But the
cars.
access to them is basically off of your internal road.
There is no access for this development off of DW Highway. Technically, you could say you have access off of this road, but this was permitted separately. This was permitted to come in and loop around the St. Gobain and come out the other end. But there is no direct access from this development directly on to
Okay,
DW
that's what I
Highway.
wanted to be
It's gonna
sure.
come in off of this previously approved road, and we're gonna, at least our thought at this point anyway, is to come in off of, Gilbert
The
Drive in
existing,
that location.
Yeah, existing entrance. Now, there's no traffic light planned for Gilbert Crossing yet, right?
No, but there is one in the design for this road here.
Yeah, and then you said another one further to the north?
Just the one that exists in front of the St. Gobain driveway.
Oh, okay, I thought you were adding a third one.
No, again, they've got a certain distance apart that lights have to be,
Yeah,
and the Flex Building in Webster Green was too close to that light. This is just far away, so we're proposing a light here, and then this would be too close to that one. I speak to the residents of Gilbert Crossing quite a bit, and no one's really had any issue coming in or getting out, because, I mean, sometimes when they're coming home, depending on what direction they're coming, you know, they gotta sit in traffic that I think has probably been there for 30 years, heading south towards Bedford Street. But no complaints really.
I've heard that with the St. Gobain refurbishment, if you will.
Demolition?
What? The
Demolition?
Demolition's about done, but
Yeah.
I've heard that there was requirements for soil removal from their site. Is that?
I
radar?
spoke with them on a couple different occasions. They wanted to tie a catch basin they had into our detention basin for the flex site, and I said, no, you got to take care of your own stuff. Hey, there's nothing there. I said, why don't you just fill your catch basins in, or pull them out, or whatever. And it's all beach sand. It's going to rain. It's going to go in the ground.
Yeah.
So no, we're not handling anything from St.
There's
Gobain.
nothing, yeah. And it would make sense to blend that property in, but that's another story. That's
So
out
I've
of your control.
So I've spoken to him just off the cuff. I'm like, you demolished it. What do you want for it? It'd be nice to have that 150 acre plus that donut hole in the middle, St. Gobain.
Yeah.
But they're not ready to do anything with it at this point.
Well, it's gone now, right?
Well, I mean the parcel of land.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, with the
yeah.
parcel of land, too,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's about all I have right now. I think
Okay.
yeah.
Any other comments?
Yeah, Kevin, I got a couple.
Sure.
So, first of all, to kind of piggyback on what Nelson said, I do like the renderings, but we've seen beautiful renderings before, and we haven't gotten the renderings, so it's nice to look at now, but
Nope, I get it.
the hotel, what are we talking about for a hotel? Is it an extended stay or a real hotel?
They haven't even spoken to a hotel yet. Again, this is a concept
Okay.
at this point. We're looking at maybe 50 to 70 rooms, nothing big, we've got the Homewood Suites down in Nashua. It's a big 200-foot long building that's, 4 or 5 stories high. And I think, it's a 70 room here. So this is gonna be a much smaller footprint,
Okay,
for the hotel.
okay.
So again, just to reiterate, aside from the apartments on the second floor of these brown buildings here, all of this here is an allowed use in the I-1 district. So again, we're showing this as a whole, just so we can show it as a whole. But we're gonna be going to zoning board for the housing section of it.
Are you looking at phasing it?
It'll probably be phased. I mean, with the apartments in here, I know our leasing guys are already talking to folks about hopefully future construction of the whole site, but getting something going up here with whether it's retail or bank or a restaurant. We may start with a restaurant and a bank. Those are always, good uses. But as our leasing folks get more into it, if we have success with the zoning board, then we have site plan, DES. DOT is gonna probably wanna give it a double check. We're probably looking at 3 or 4 months of design, submission, and then, it could be anywhere from 3 months to 6 months for an approval from DES and everything.
Okay. I'm just going to ask, Kevin, out of curiosity, I'm just going to quickly ask, what's the mix of units you have? 2-bedroom, 1-bedrooms?
So these
What's
are
it gonna look
all
like?
1 and 2 bedroom.
Families?
52-unit buildings have 24 ones, 24 twos, and 4 studios.
Okay.
So essentially 28 ones and 24 twos. The only 3-bedroom are going to be these 2 little houses up here, if we even go forward with those houses. And these will be maximum of 2-bedroom up here and the 22 units over there.
Do you think you're going to deviate from the 2 houses if things don't pan out? That's all right. It's conceptual. Yeah.
If Mr. Flatley wants to go forward with the 2 houses, we'll build the 2 houses.
Is there sidewalks throughout that entire
Yes.
facility? All right.
Yeah, so, and I know this is far away, and I promise I'll bring in a flash drive next time. But there's a dark line through here, so
Okay.
there's a sidewalk kind of runs all the way through here, all the way around and through here, and there's all sorts of sidewalks and big sitting areas and all sorts of stuff in the retail area
Okay.
here.
Do you know approximately how many parking spaces are in the retail area? You don't have to, I'm just curious to know. I want to make sure that, there's enough.
So
for
there
residents
there are enough.
And for the residents that are going to live
Yes,
above
we went through this
Okay.
more than a couple times. The architect did a good job on that and this
Yeah.
layout, but typically we don't get the same parking spots that we need.
I understand.
So yes, so we meet all the parking regulations. Well, actually, we exceed what's needed out here.
I know it's early, do you have a plan so that's going to be a lot of 2 bedrooms, that's families. Do you have anything for children to do? Anything anywhere for
So,
them to go? other than
again, this is a
UW Highway?
concept, so he always, Ms. Flatley always ends up putting in some sort of playground type
Okay.
thing, or, there'll be more than what you see on here.
Okay.
And, a lot of this is gonna be dependent on DES too. If DES says, hey, yeah, you can infiltrate over here, it's fine. All right, great. If they say, no, you can't infiltrate over here, then that basin gets a little bigger, and maybe instead of, this volume of buildings, we have to drop it. We've also looked at piping this all the way back to the basin behind buildings. Building
Okay.
7 over here in Gilbert Crossing. We've also got a humongous basin that's over here,
Okay.
and there's a lot of open space over here. So there's places that we haven't dug into yet.
Yeah, if it all just pans out, I'd like to make sure there's something for kids to do.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
I'll keep that, we'll keep that in mind if we get to the
And have you
design process.
had a chance to talk to anybody at Webster Green? Just curious.
No.
Chat with them about just to kind of get some feedback from neighbors?
I mean, I pretty much know their thoughts, and I don't disagree
Understood.
their hang-up, and it's traffic, and I get it. Trust me, I get it.
My sentiments with Pete, I am concerned. I traverse from Merrimack to Bedford probably 5-6 times a day, back and forth.
Yeah.
It is getting a little harder.
I mean, the traffic and how to handle drainage of PFOA, those are the two big things
You got your work cut
that
out
we
for you.
need to deal with.
Yeah, you got your work cut out.
So again, this is just a concept at
Yeah.
this point. So again, I would just, if the board is,
It's just open conversation. I just wanted to.
yeah. No, again, it's good to hear, because we can put that in the design process if we move forward with it. But again, as far as the zoning board goes, I've spoken with Robert and Casey. They seem to like the plan. I wanted to come to the board and show you folks.
I think it's pretty.
And hopefully, if you're willing to, putting a positive recommendation to the zoning board, just as a zoning board, hey, this is pretty good, go for it. And we still got to go through the gauntlet of traffic, drainage,
doesn't change
everything
the
to go with
process.
DES. And this is a baby step, a necessary baby step, but baby step.
I understand. Pete, did you have something you wanted to add?
Just one last thing. So right now, if you wanted to build, Kevin, you could build 4 retail sites and a pad for a restaurant, correct?
So I couldn't build anything on here. Now,
Yeah.
I'll
But you were
explain that.
approved for that.
So it's allowed by zoning, so I don't need a variance for that. I don't need anything from the zoning board. I don't really need anything from planning board just for this concept, but I will have to come to you with a site plan. If we want to do, let's just do this one building, which I don't think we're gonna do. I think we're gonna come in, this is such a one comprehensive thing. Even if we just decide to build a restaurant here or whatever, the site plan, I can almost say 100% is gonna be this whole shoot match. And we need that approval before we do anything out there.
So what I'm harking on is that when you guys first came in and you Gilbert Crossing plan and the retail space that now is a different concept,
Yeah.
people were hesitant, myself included, when I watched this and said, okay, what's it gonna do to the town in that end? And now it's changed, and I feel like, all right, I'm not comfortable with the fact that we were given one bill of goods and said, this is what's gonna happen, and now all of a sudden, we're done Gilbert Crossing, and hey, we wanna put in 280 more units and all sorts of stuff there, that there's just a lot of questions. And again, I know this is concept, but I still feel like we were sold on one bill of goods, and now it's being changed, and that's why I mentioned
Yeah.
what happened in
I-
Bedford.
I understand what you're saying, but again, this again goes back to the master plan and how things change over time. I mean, God forbid if we did the master plan on our Nashua site, there was gonna have all sorts of million square foot warehouses and retail this and retail that, and we'd be sitting there with an empty building. I live in Bridgewater, Mass. I drive through West Bridgewater, bunch of houses, single family, other side of the street, million square foot warehouse just got built. It's been sitting there 2 months now. Nothing. I think there's one in South Nashua.
We have a 300,000 square foot one that's been empty for a year.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so that's,
No, I guess, you know,
we actually have a design for a 150,000 square foot warehouse
Yep.
on the north end. And we started building it, and then we took a look around and said, let's just hold off and see how this kind of pans out. And I'm glad we held off doing it. So,
okay, I mean, there's a lot to be said and done, so I've said my piece.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
thanks.
Thank you, Pete.
Appreciate it.
Neil?
Yeah. This is kind of a take back from when the Gilbert Crossing got approved originally. We had a lot of discussion about having pedestrian access or even car access on the back side, on the south, the southeast side.
Done over here.
Excuse me. Is there any, any plan for pedestrian connectivity? Like from the Gilbert Crossing area to that bottom part of the project? Yeah, like in that area there, like, is there any way to connect it?
I can only imagine that we are going to connect that. I mean,
Whether
part of the deal with this, isn't just we don't expect this guy to get in his car and drive up and drive in.
Yeah.
He's gonna walk down this sewer easement. So some of this is gravel, some of it is now grass, but yeah, I can almost guarantee you that there's going to be some sort of pedestrian connection, whether it's here and coming around like this to here, or off of this sidewalk to here, or both.
I think it's important that you have it. Originally, well, mixed use, that was part of our discussion, to
Yeah.
have that connectivity
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Everything
and
flow
we
together.
said we were gonna do that, and that hasn't changed. We don't know exactly how it's gonna lay out when all is said and done, but that's part of our goal, is to make this walkable for the Gilbert Crossing folks.
cool.
Kevin, what is this gonna do to the fire department access road?
So the fire department access road, there's a basin back here, so the fire department access road currently comes through this here. Oh, you're talking about the one that cuts across?
Yep.
So we'll gravel something that we have similar out there. It'll probably be part of the walking path. That'll connect again. You can see there's no parking spaces at the very end of this. We're probably gonna run it. We'll talk with the fire department, but we can come off of here to here, or we can run it down to
I
here.
think it'd be important to have that connectivity.
Yeah, I mean, we've also, if we follow through with this road, there's a third, there's a third access, so you come in, come around and get in. But yeah, there'll be some sort of connectivity in there.
Okay.
Robert, can I open this to public comment?
Yeah, you don't have to, but since
I'd
they're
like
here,
to.
I think it certainly
Yeah.
makes sense.
All right. I'm now going to open it up to public comment. If you don't mind, please come up, state your name.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Ashley Tenhave. I live at 75 Shelburne Road in Webster Green. I'd like to say I appreciate Peter bringing up the traffic. Traffic is horrendous. We spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes just trying to get out of our place. To take a left out of Webster Green is almost impossible, especially first thing in the morning and 5 o'clock at night. And the concern now with adding more houses, adding restaurants that are going to be having people coming 5, 6 o'clock for dinner, same time that all the traffic is really bad in that area. It's not pleasant. We play Russian roulette sometimes, trying to get out of our place between the traffic going north and south, and also just the few trucks that are coming in and out of their industrial spot, because they don't care. they'll just zoom out of there if they have a chance. They don't care that somebody's been sitting there waiting 15 minutes. It's a mess. And with the access road to connect all of this all the way up to St. Gobain, you're gonna have people that are going to not wanna wait at the light that are trying to go north. They're gonna take that road, and they're gonna take whatever exit out of that road that they can to get north, which means dumping more people coming out across from Webster Green, more people coming out at the St. Gobain light and triggering that light and stopping traffic and making it even harder for us to get out again. We brought this up when they were doing the industrial, and we were told that they were not allowed to use the St. Gobain entrance because we actually asked for that to be the main entrance for their industrial with the 18-wheelers and with the big trucks, because trying to cross through Daniel Webster Highway right there was impossible. And we were told, at first we were told, yes, that's our plan. And then when it finally came to fruition, they turned around and said, no, we didn't say that we would use St. Gobain. We can't. And ever since then, it's been directly across from us that has been, it's impossible. The traffic is horrendous. And then my other concern with the hotel is, we have a hotel in South Merrimack that we've had the FBI there, we've had drug enforcement there, we've had stings there. It is a mess. Bedford built a hotel within the last 10 years. They have had drug stings. They've had a machete fight. They've had a shooting murder there. You're gonna bring this back into our town. We just got rid of a couple hotels. We got rid of the hotel right over across from Burger King, and now that's apartments. I don't think that this is right. And I really don't think that our road can handle any more traffic, especially another 300 plus units of cars. Are they gonna have one car? Are they gonna have two cars, depending on how many are gonna be there? It's a mess, and DOT is not going to help us. DOT is not happy with Merrimack. They're not gonna do anything to help us. And we've asked. We've asked for a do not block square to be put at our entrance so that we could have it so that we have a lane to get out. And they told us we don't have the manpower to come out and paint and then to maintain that. DOT ain't gonna do anything to help us. DOT is gonna let them do whatever they want because DOT is not happy with Merrimack. And then us, the residents that live up there that have to travel back and forth to work, back and forth to school, we're the ones that suffer. And we're gonna suffer even more with another 300 units. And then the last thing I would like to say is, I'm really upset that they're coming with another plan for this when they can't even finish the ones they've started. That industrial site has been a waste zone for how many years now? We had to come back and specifically ask for more landscaping to be put in there because they've removed too many trees. And we can't get that landscaping until they finish their horrible buildings. I'm tired of looking at that. Finish something before you come and offer something else. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comments? Seeing as there none, I'm going to close the public comment.
Let him talk. Let Kevin.
Kevin, you can come back.
Yeah.
Robert, I did close it.
So I understand the whole thing about the traffic, and I don't disagree with what you said. But this was zoned industrial. If there wasn't a mixed use bylaw ever put into effect, there could be 3 million square foot warehouses out here, you know, so the industrial that we put for the flex buildings, we didn't do 2-story, we didn't do 3-story, we tried to make it look half decent. The housing, you know, again, we're not trying to put up million square foot buildings, which can easily be done like the examples I gave you a little earlier. And the issue is, I understand the traffic, but the traffic was there. I know that what we're doing will add to it. Per our traffic engineer, putting some housing in here instead of doing it all as retail will actually reduce the amount of traffic. I think you'll see that when, if we're able to come in. I know it's coming across from some folks that we don't care, but we're trying to do everything in our power to make this as workable as possible. And again, I've spoken with DOT more than once. Until they can get something to get a second lane down to Bedford Road, that's always going to be jammed up there. And I understand that they have to wait for people driving by, but our residents do too. There's no difference. The same, the people living here are waiting just as the people down the street are. And I'd also like to offer, I know DOT wouldn't paint something for you there. So I have no problem talking to DOT. We'll see if we can, we have to do all the work out. We had to do the widening here. We're going to have to do the widening here. We're going to have to do the painting here. I'll see if we can paint I have something similar again in my hometown of Bridgewater. There's a stop line right near a set of lights because there's a parking lot there.
Bill Boyd couldn't even get it done, and he's our representative.
So the folks at DOT, and I don't know when the last time you talked to them were, but the folks at DOT have kind of switched. There was somebody that was there, he's left. Somebody else has come in.
Kevin, if you can just address the board.
Okay, so anyway, somebody else has come in, so we'll see. I'll try to talk to DOT and see if we can help out in that regard. All right, thank you.
Okay. Well, first, Kevin, thank you very much for the presentation. I do appreciate you showing us what your ideas are. Robert, because this is just a conversation,
Yep, there's nothing further needed.
there's nothing further? All right. Well, thank you very much, Kevin. I do appreciate you coming down. All right. Next item on the agenda is the Planning and Zoning Administrator's Report. Is there anything?
There's nothing tonight, Mr. Chair.
Understood.
I have something.
Oh,
for
Mr.
the community.
Please.
I've mentioned it a couple of times now, but Robert wasn't here, so now Robert can hear about following up on landscaping that's been put in several years ago, and now the trees are all dead, and they're just hanging there. And I wanted to know that the community development had some interest in or some authority in maintaining these screens and these different landscaping plans that we put together. And when things start dying, nobody seems to notice, except me.
Well, I know you had a comment about the Shaws on DW Highway previously with the dead trees.
Yes, I did.
Staff has looked into their original site plan, and since the landscaping was part of the approved site plan, we have at least been in contact with Shaws. There will be an ongoing process, but they have been notified that they are in violation of their site plan.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the resolution of this will be, but it is being addressed.
Okay. What about any other sites in town? I mean, maybe once a year or something, you could have a look at what's going on in maintaining these landscaped buffers, especially in the areas where they're buffers.
We can do a drive. We do drives somewhat regularly for other reasons. If there's a specific property someone is concerned about, being told about that would be a great help, since we can't be on every road every day. But it is something we can keep an eye on.
Yeah, it's not an everyday thing. It's once a year even. You know, these trees at Shaw's have been dead for some time. Okay, that's all I have to say. Keep at it.
I have one thing, Robert, in a minute. Is it how can we manage these last second, hey, we have this report for you today, right now, and now you have to make a decision? Is there any thing that can be done?
Not really. I can't prevent them from walking in here and saying, here it is, but you guys are certainly within your power to say, that's great. No one's had a chance to look at it.
That's my sentiment exactly. Like, I struggle to make it, I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, it's hard to make a decision on I don't know, what is that, an 8-page report in 8 seconds. It can be very frustrating.
Good
I just
point.
wanted to state that.
wrong person.
Better. All right, any other things of concern, comments, anything? All right, everyone. All right, so next is the minutes, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll
I
second
didn't
it.
get to read them, you know? I mean, I got them this afternoon.
Motion made by Pete and seconded by Karen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those abstaining? All those opposed?
Abstain.
All right, that's 5-1-0.
Right.
All right. And then, is there a motion to adjourn?
Can I make the motion to adjourn?
Is there a second? Motion made by John, seconded by Pete. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those abstaining, all those opposed? Motion moves, everyone.
Good
Thank
job.
you very much.
Good job.